We're going to take a quick time out. Join us when we come back as we'll sit down with women's volleyball head coach Robyn Felder, the head coach of the undefeated in Pac West Red Storm volleyball team. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Storm Stack Up. As promised, we're joined by the reigning and defending Pacific West Conference Volleyball Coach of the Year, as well as the leader of the currently undefeated Red Storm volleyball team in Pacific West Conference play. And we're joined by Robyn Felder. Robyn, welcome to the Stack Up.
Thank you.
We talked about on Media Day a couple of months ago now that your opening schedule was probably going to be as brutal as anyone sees in the West region. Talk about those opening weekends in Seattle and in Riverside, what you learned from those matches and how they prepared you for what has been a spectacular opening in Pac West play.
Well, we went to Seattle and we played, some tough competition, kind of the middle of the pack teams that we now have kind of found that they're rising to the top of their conferences. But that was just a good opener for us. It really just showed us where we need to get better. We did a lot of things well. We struggled in a lot of ways. Those first tournaments are always good because you get to see right where you're at. You get a breakdown film and you just get to see, okay, we are not very good at this and this is where we're good. The GNAT crossover we knew was going to be a tough one. Playing the top 4 teams in the GNAT conference is a great opportunity for us. And, really what we walked away from that was just that we can battle. We took 2 of the top 25 teams in the nation to 5, missed opportunities to beat them. Ended up beating an Alaska Anchorage team that is at the top of the GNAT currently. Right. And so, that was as tough it is to lose that early in the season. Looking back, it was a great opportunity for us to play tough competition and really fine tune where we need to get better.
What were the specific aspects that you worked on from those first 2 tournaments that led to your opening Pac West victories here at home against Notre Dame de Namur and Dominican?
Yeah, our blocking definitely needed to improve. We needed to not make so many errors with our blocking. And the second element was really just being able to control our side of the net. Errors are a killer. If you make less errors, you win. And so if we can control our side of the net, regardless of who's on the other side, whether it's a JV high school team or whether it's the top team in the nation, if you make less errors, you win games. And so if we can control our side, we found that we can be pretty productive.
So you ended up 2-0 after your opening stretch here at home. Then you go out on the road for the first time in Pac West play. You head to the Bay Area where you see NDNU again at the end of that trip. You get a Holy Names club that probably was as good a kickoff to that road trip as possible, and then a match in between against a rising Art U squad. In San Francisco, what was how did this team feel, especially being out on the road and knowing you were off to a good start in the Pac West? Yeah,
momentum just carries over. We were 2-0 at home. We love playing at home. And for me, any road win is a victory. Some were uglier than others, some were cleaner than others. But anytime when you can win on the road in somebody else's gym, you just take it and you move forward. That trip we played 3 games in 3 days. We were driving in traffic. It's just not ideal. But we played some good teams. It was momentum moving forward. We were definitely playing tougher teams as the trip went on. And, we were really heading into our, second weekend here where we really saw the top of the conference in Point Loma and Azusa.
Come in against Azusa, who last year was in the top 4 of the Pac West. Seems to be a little bit of a slide this year compared to last year's talent. But then you always get a tough Point Loma team. Took care of business against Azusa, especially in those first 2 games when they seemed off their game. What was the feeling going into that next match against Point Loma? I believe you were quoted in the local newspaper saying that you're not losing at home, and you proved it against the Sea Lions.
Yeah, with Point Loma, we only get to see them 1 time this year. So we told the girls, this is it. You're not going to see them again. You can't make adjustments later. We scouted them pretty heavily. We kind of knew what they were doing. Point Loma brought everybody back. Azusa brought everybody back. So we were seeing the same teams from last year, just better, a year more seasoned. And I think just the girls coming in, it wasn't gee, I hope we can play with these guys and it'll be really fun to play. It was like, we are not losing. We are not losing at home. And you could see it on their faces. They'd miss a point and it was like, no, right back. Just the focus of the girls was amazing.
Who has been the most surprising member of your team so far this year?
That's a tough one. It really is, only because we have such a well-balanced offense. You know, one day it's Ed, the next day it's Maddie. You got my middles are contributing, my libero is fantastic. I mean, there's so many players, you just honestly can't pick one. You know, we've had Ed come in as a JUCO kid, just come in and make a tremendous impact on us. The returners are just stepping up, and they're seasoned this year. You know, I don't feel like they're young anymore. They're not making those young mistakes that we were in the past.
Talk about, and I've been around the volleyball scene for a while, but talk about and boil it down why the phrase "a good pass leads to everything going well" is so important in volleyball.
Yeah, you know, volleyball, two key elements: you got to serve, you got to pass. Serving, obviously, if you can't serve, you never get the opportunity to earn points in a row. And passing for us has been key. You know, we have the tools, we have the guns that can put the ball away, but if we can't get our setters a pass, you can't get a kill. And so we work a lot on passing. Every day we serve and pass, serve and pass, serve and pass. They're probably so sick of it, but it really is probably the key fundamental to winning, is just being in system and having a good pass.
So now you take your 7-0 Pac West record on the road. You get to go to Hawaii upcoming, and it really is a brutal schedule coming up where you have 2 matches in a row, 1 day off, a nationally ranked team in BYU Hawaii, then a plane ride over to the Big Island. How has been this week of preparation that you've had without any games getting you ready for that Hawaii trip?
Yeah, you know, we've had a really tough week of practice. I mean, we've had a whole week of no games, and so we've hit it hard. Fixing, fine-tuning, and just letting the girls know you have to fuel your body this week. You have to get rest. You have to go to class, you know, because it boils down to just a road trip. We're in the car, we're on the airplane, we're tired, you got the time change. There's a lot of outside elements, but we just can't let them affect how we play. So we've kind of taken this week to, hey, prepare yourself, and we can't use it as an excuse. We need to go there and play volleyball.
Well, the next time we have you on, I'm going to ask you about the intricacies of a 6-2 offense, because I'm intrigued by it, and you guys run it this year, and you've run it to perfection. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Volleyball, again, on the road in Hawaii, starting out on the 13th of October, as they'll take on the Silver Swords of Chaminade University. The next night, a tough one with the Sharks of HPU, a day off on the islands, and then the showdown. As of right now, the last 2 teams in the Pac West remaining unbeaten, Dixie State and number 4 in the country, BYU Hawaii. That'll be on the 16th, and then the Storm close out the trip on the Big Island on October 17th against UH Hilo. We'll have all the information as a result of that Hawaii trip on the upcoming editions of the Storm StackUp. Our thanks again to Robyn Felder. We'll be back with more upcoming schedule when we return on the Storm StackUp.